Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral talks with President Xi Jinping. Also meets Chai Chi, member of Standing Committee of Politburo of Communist Party of China. PM Modi reiterates his call for vocal for local for a developed India in his monthly radio broadcast Mann Ki Baat. Lauds Jammu and Kashmir for successfully hosting first ever Khelo India water sports in the iconic Dal Lake. Indonesian lawmakers to lose perks and privileges following anti-government protests that left 5 people dead. President Subianto orders strict action against rioters and looters. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral talks with the Chinese President Xi Jinping in China's Tianjin. Congratulating President Xi for successfully hosting the SCO summit, PM Modi emphasized the commitment to taking the India-China ties forward based on mutual trust, respect and sensitivity. He also mentioned the recent agreement between the special representatives of the two nations regarding border management. PM Modi appreciated the progress made on several fronts of ties and peace on the border post-disengagements. He also spoke about the beginning of the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra and touched upon the beginning of direct flight connectivity between the two countries. The two leaders last met in October in Kazan, Russia on the sidelines of BRICS summit.
Excellency, हमारे गर्मजोशी भरे स्वागत के लिए मैं आपका हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। पिछले वर्ष कयान में हमारी बहुत ही सार्थक चर्चा हुई थी। हमारे संबंधों को एक सकारात्मक दिशा मिली। सीमा पर डिसएंगेजमेंट के बाद शांति और स्थिरता का माहौल बना हुआ है। हमारे स्पेशल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स के बीच बॉर्डर मैनेजमेंट के संबंध में सहमति बनी। कैलाश मानसरोवर यात्रा फिर से शुरू की। दोनों देशों के बीच डायरेक्ट फ्लाइट भी फिर से शुरू की जा रही है। हमारे सहयोग से दोनों देशों के 2.8 बिलियन लोगों के हित जुड़े हुए। इससे पूरी मानवता के कल्याण का मार्ग भी प्रशस्त होगा। परस्पर विश्वास, सम्मान और संवेदनशीलता के आधार पर हम अपने संबंधों को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध हैं। एक्सेलेंसी, चीन द्वारा एससीओ की सफल अध्यक्षता के लिए मैं आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। एक बार फिर चीन यात्रा के निमंत्रण के लिए और आज की हमारी बैठक के लिए आपका हार्दिक धन्यवाद।
During the bilateral meeting with PM Modi, Chinese President Xi Jinping said China and India share a historical responsibility to improve their people's well-being, support developing countries and contribute to global progress. It is wise for both countries to maintain friendly, cooperative relations and support each other's success, symbolized by the dragon and the elephant coming together.
The world today is swept by one-centric transformations. The international situation is both fluid and chaotic. China and India are two ancient civilizations in the East. We are the world's two most populous countries, and we are also important members of the global South. We both shoulder the historical responsibility of improving the well-being of our two peoples promoting the solidarity and rejuvenation of developing countries, and promoting the progress of human society. It is the right choice for both sides to be friends who have good neighbourly and amicable ties, partners who enable each other's success, and to have the dragon and the elephant dance together.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met Shai Chi, member of the Standing Committee of the Politburo of the Communist Party of China. Building on and in line with the leaders' meeting today, they touched on bilateral economic, political and people-to-people exchanges between India and China. PM Modi also held a bilateral meeting with Senior General of Myanmar, Min Aung Hlaing. The spirit of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, the unity of the country, is crucial for the development of the country, and sports play a big role in this. During his Mann Ki Baat address, Prime Minister Modi mentioned about the sports competitions held in Jammu and Kashmir in the recent past.
India's northern state of Jammu and Kashmir recently achieved two major milestones. The Prime Minister mentioned a special match held in Pulwama, Jammu and Kashmir.
जम्मू कश्मीर के पुलवामा के एक स्टेडियम में रिकॉर्ड संख्या में लोग इकट्ठा हुए। यहां पुलवामा का पहला डे नाइट क्रिकेट मैच खेला गया। पहले ये होना असंभव था, लेकिन अब मेरा देश बदल रहा है। ये मैच रॉयल प्रीमियर लीग का हिस्सा है, जिसमें जम्मू कश्मीर की अलग अलग टीमें खेल रही हैं। इतने सारे लोग, खासकर युवा, पुलवामा में रात के समय हजारों की तादाद में क्रिकेट का आनंद लेते हुए ये नजारा वाकई देखने लायक था।
The Prime Minister spoke about the Khelo India Water Sports Festival held in Srinagar and congratulated the winning states and athletes. PM Modi also lauded the hospitality of the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
दूसरा आयोजन जिसने ध्यान खींचा वो है देश में हुआ पहला खेलो इंडिया वाटर स्पोर्ट्स फेस्टिवल, और वो भी श्रीनगर की डल झील पर हुआ। सचमुच ऐसा उत्सव आयोजित करने के लिए ये कितनी खास जगह है। इसका उद्देश्य है जम्मू कश्मीर में वाटर स्पोर्ट्स को और लोकप्रिय बनाना। इसमें पूरे भारत से 800 से अधिक एथलीट्स ने हिस्सा लिया। महिला एथलीट्स भी पीछे नहीं रही, उनकी भागीदारी भी लगभग पुरुषों के बराबर थी। मैं उन सभी खिलाड़ियों को बधाई देना चाहता हूं जिन्होंने इसमें भाग लिया। विशेष बधाई मध्य प्रदेश को, जिसने सबसे ज्यादा मेडल जीते। उसके बाद हरियाणा और उड़ीसा का स्थान रहा। जम्मू कश्मीर की सरकार और वहां की जनता की आत्मीयता और मेहमान नवाजी की मैं भूरी भूरी प्रशंसा करता हूं।
The competitions held in Jammu and Kashmir are not only promoting sports but are also helping to connect Jammu and Kashmir, which remain isolated for decades, with the rest of the country through sports. Bureau Report, DD India.
Prominent business leaders have praised India's recent GDP numbers, calling them a testament to country's strong fundamentals and resilience. Several industrialists emphasized confidence that with continued policy support and innovation, India is well on track to strengthen its position as one of the fastest growing major economies in the world.
The growth rate for the Q1 25-26 financial year has been declared at 7.8%. It's pretty much the best performance of any country, any large country in the world in that period from April to June. And that also shows the great momentum that Indian economy is currently having. The growth rate is absolutely exhilarating because of the fact that it's also in all sectors. It's all pervasive. That includes travel, tourism, tertiary sector, production, manufacturing, and of course services. But overall, there has been a stupendous performance.
First quarter of India's GDP growth coming in at 7.8% is fantastic. We look forward to the coming 3 quarters which are there for the jewelry market, which is in full season with Diwali and other festivities coming into play. It will help the gem and jewelry industry offset part of this problems that we are having with the US 50% tariff. When you look at international reports on the jewelry front, India has been shown as one of the fastest growing jewelry markets, and that is what is going to help our industry pass over this present problems which we have.
And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Israeli protesters rallied at Hostages Square, calling for a deal that would see the release of all the hostages in Gaza. Special Sports Day edition of Fit India, Sundays on cycle.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. The Prime Minister of Yemen's Houthi government and several other ministers were killed in an Israeli strike on the capital Sana'a, the head of the Houthi Supreme Political Council said on Saturday, in the first such attack to kill senior officials. Israel said on Friday that the airstrike had targeted the Iran-aligned group's chief of staff, defense minister and other senior officials, and that it was verifying the outcome. Ahmad Ghalib al-Rahwi became Prime Minister around a year ago, but the de facto leader of the government was his deputy, Mohammad Muftah, who was assigned on Saturday to carry out the Prime Minister's duties. The Iran-backed Houthis, who have launched repeated drone and missile attacks on Israel since the Gaza conflict erupted in October 2023, vowed to avenge his death. Israel has been striking Houthi targets for months in response to rebels' attacks, which they say are in support of the Palestinians in Gaza. The Israeli Defense Forces launched a strike on Hezbollah's military infrastructure, including underground infrastructure in southern Lebanon. In a post on X, the Israeli army claimed that the site and the activity within it constituted a violation of the understandings between Israel and Lebanon. Hezbollah was significantly weakened in the recent war with Israel, which resulted in deaths of many of its top commanders and fighters. A US brokered ceasefire obliges the Lebanese state to disarm all non-state armed groups, including Hezbollah. Hamas confirmed on Saturday the death of its Gaza military chief Mohammed Sinwar a few months after Israel said it killed him in a strike in May. Meanwhile, Israeli protesters rallied at Hostages Square on Saturday, calling for a deal that would see the release of all the hostages in Gaza. Many expressed their concerns over the well-being of remaining hostages, as well as over the possibility they may never be able to retrieve those who had died. In a major breakthrough, Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto has announced that the country's political parties have agreed to revoke a number of perks and privileges for lawmakers, which ignited protests that left at least 5 people dead.
DPR menyampaikan akan dilakukan
The House of Representatives leaders announced that they would repeal several parliament policies, including the amount of parliament member allowances and the moratorium on overseas working visits. I have ordered the policy and the Indonesian National Armed Forces to take the strongest possible action against all forms of damage to public facilities, looting of individual homes, public places or economic centers in accordance with applicable law.
Tempat-tempat umum atau sentra-sentra ekonomi.
Earlier, Prabowo Subianto on Saturday cancelled a planned trip to China as days of protests spread further outside the capital Jakarta, with several regional parliament buildings set ablaze. The Indonesian president had been due to attend a Victory Day parade in China on September 3rd to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. Southeast Asia's biggest economy was rocked by protests in major cities, including the capital Jakarta, on Friday after a footage spread of a motorcycle rider being run over by a police vehicle during a protest rally. President Subianto has urged calm and ordered an investigation into the driver's death and that the officers involved be held accountable. Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. In Bayeux, France, large crowds visited the museum to view the famous tapestry before its closure on 1st of September. The 70-meter-long, nearly 1,000-year-old artwork will be off display for 2 years as the museum undergoes renovations. From September 2026, the tapestry will be loaned to London's British Museum for 9 months. However, critics warn the move could risk damaging the historic piece. Vietnam began its 80th Independence Day celebrations with a major display of weaponry and technology. Thousands gathered to attend the national exhibition on Sunday, from missile to bomb disposal robots. The display highlighted the country's defense capabilities and innovation. Residents of tiny Indonesian island of Pari threatened with disappearance by rising sea levels driven by climate change. They are demanding compensation from cement giant Holcim in Switzerland. The case reflects a wider global push to hold big firms accountable for environmental harm and also hurting the livelihoods of millions of people. How's the army imbibing the lessons from Operation Sindoor, which was a decisive military victory? Our correspondent Nandita Dagar spoke to the head of Indian Army's Central Command, Lieutenant General Anindya Sen Gupta. Here's the exclusive chat.
You being the Central Army Commander, what are the takeaways and lessons that you aim to get from here and disseminate to your command, since the nature of warfare is changing rapidly, technology is advancing by leaps and bounds?
If you take your mind back to the television sets which we were glued in 90s while US was attacking Iraq.
Shock and awe.
Shock and awe. Exactly. And currently it has integrated itself into all the various nuances and parts of warfare. And we have seen technology from the smallest thing, like a very minute drone, to a missile being utilized, and the information being seamlessly shared between the target, the observing teams, as well as the people who are operating those systems. We are happy that this seminar has come at the right opportune moment. When the environment is the way as I had described it, and the importance of technology the way it is there, it is extremely important that we get this down to the lowest level at a very rapid rate. And that is why the industrial partners, the academia, the intelligentsia, and the veterans, they are all advising here. So the lessons what I'll take back from here would be possibly how to enhance the infusion of, let's say, drones, how to enhance our ISR capabilities, how to look at movement on autonomous vehicles, and possibly enhance the satellite coverage of certain areas.
And time now for sports. Special Sports Day edition of Fit India Sundays on Cycle was organized in New Delhi with the aim of spreading awareness about fitness and healthy lifestyles among citizens. India Sports Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia led this edition as part of nationwide sports movement. This special edition was aligned with the larger celebrations to honor the birth anniversary of hockey legend Major Dhyan Chand. Launched in December 2024 by Sports Minister Mann, the campaign has so far been held at over different locations with participation of more than 8 lakh people.
We are from Faridabad Cycle Spinners Group, and we meet every Sunday and we try to make up around 50 to 70 kilometers, and we also burn our hearts out and laugh our ways to remove the stress from this world and enjoy the environment, enjoy the nature of Delhi by cycling on the roads.
In tennis, Jannik Sinner survived a stern test in his third round clash while Coco Gauff eased her way into fourth round of the US Open on Saturday. Top-ranked Jannik Sinner recovered from a set down to beat Canadian Denis Shapovalov in 4 sets to book his place in the fourth round. World number 1 Sinner, who bids to become the first man to retain the title in New York since Roger Federer in 2008, will face Alexander Bublik in the next match. Third seed Alexander Zverev crashed out in the US Open after losing to Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime in third round. Zverev, the 2020 US Open runner-up, claimed the first set and had a set point in the second but lost 4-6, 7-6, 6-4, 6-4. It's the first time Zverev has failed to reach the second week in New York since 2018. Gauff struggled with errors and double faults in her first 2 rounds, but the American third seed hit her stride to thrash Polish Magdalena Frech 6-3, 6-1. She will next play Naomi Osaka of Japan in a blockbuster showdown after 4-time Grand Slam champion beat Australian Daria Kasatkina. Iga Swiatek struggled through to the last 16. She showed great resolve to dig herself out of trouble against Russian Anna Kalinskaya. The world number 2 slid 5-1 behind in the opening set but saved 4 set points and won a tie break before eventually seeing off Kalinskaya 7-6, 6-4. Swiatek, the 2022 US Open champion and 6-time major winner, was far from her best. India's Yuki Bhamri and his partner Michael Venus of New Zealand advanced to the second round of US Open with a dominant win in New York. Bhamri and Venus outclassed American duo Marcos Giron and Lerna Tien 6-0, 6-3. The pair did not lose a game in the opening set, breaking serve comfortably and maintaining control throughout the contest. They broke early in the second set and sealed the match, losing only 3 games, while Bhamri's compatriots Rohan Bopanna and Arjun Kadhe exited the tournament after first round defeat. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on your screens to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.